Hey guys, it's Danny, and today I am showing you how to make a one-pan roasted chicken with sweet potatoes, along with a kitchen sink side salad. Now this is literally the type of meal that I would throw together for my family during the week. It's also a beautiful Sunday dinner, and while it takes a little bit of time to cook, the hands-on time is very little. So this is a recipe everybody wants to have in their back pocket. Now the chicken that I'm using today is from ButcherBox, which is a monthly subscription where you get high quality meats delivered right to your door. They offer chicken, beef, and pork, and you can decide which type of meats that you want in your box. And I think it's really convenient, especially if you live in an area where it's hard to get your hands on good quality meat. So if you are interested in checking them out, I will leave a link down in the description box below. For the next week, they are offering a special deal to the Clean and Delicious community. It's 1 free chicken and $10 off your first order. So I'll leave all the details down below. Now you can certainly use any type of roasting or baking dish to make your chicken in, but I really love using my cast iron skillet because I find you get a really nice golden color on the potatoes and on the chicken, plus everything fits so perfectly right in the pan. So the first thing I do is prep my potatoes. I have 2 sweet potatoes, 2 really big sweet potatoes, and what I like to do is just cut them into big bite-sized chunks. Plus they're gonna be in the pan the whole time with the chicken, so you want to cut them big enough that they don't overcook. So I slice them in half, stand them up, slice them in half again, and then I go in halves and nice hearty sized chunks. See where I'm going with this? Once all the potatoes are chopped into nice hearty chunks, I just toss them right into my cast iron skillet. And I'm just gonna give them a light drizzle with the avocado oil and then season with salt and pepper. Then I just toss this all together. And you really don't need a lot of oil in there, guys, because the chicken's gonna release some fats as well. And everybody's gonna be happy. See how a little bit goes a long way. The next thing we're gonna do is prep our chicken. So I'm using about 4.5 pound chicken here. Somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds is pretty ideal for a roasted chicken recipe like this. And the first thing you wanna do is look inside the cavity and make sure that there's no giblets stuffed in like this chicken has right here. Now these are the giblets, it's like the heart and the neck, and you could certainly use this to make a stock or something of that nature, but for this recipe we're not gonna need them, so I'm just gonna set them aside. Then the next thing I like to do is I take some paper towels and I just pat the chicken to absorb any excess moisture that might be on the chicken. And you wanna rotate it around, get the bottom, get the top, get the sides, get under the wings. I even like to get in that cavity a little bit and just absorb. Wherever you can find a little extra moisture, try to suck it out. The idea here is to get the chicken as dry as possible because the drier the chicken, the crispier the chicken is. As a matter of fact, sometimes if I have time, I will take it out of the wrapper and do all this, pat it dry, and then let it sit open in the fridge for an hour or 2 so it gets like air chilled, dry, bone dry, which creates a crispier end result. A little FYI. Then I'm just gonna give my hands a good wash and we're gonna season it up. Okay, so in the name of keeping this chicken very simple yet very flavorful, all I'm going to do is season the inside of the chicken cavity with salt and pepper, and you wanna do that very generously because this is going to permeate all of the meat in the middle of the chicken. Now, what some people do is they'll put fresh herbs or some fresh garlic into the cavity as well. And if you have it, do it. All of those are extra steps that will add extra flavor, but I promise you, just the salt and pepper will also create a very flavorful end result. And I actually think sometimes knowing real basic recipes like this and knowing you don't need to have all the extra ingredients makes it even more likely to get the meal on the table. Now, I do happen to have a lemon up in the house, so I am gonna cut my lemon in half. And then I'm gonna put that in the middle. It just adds a little fresh citrus flavor and it's a nice added touch. I'm just gonna give my hands one more wash and then we'll do the outside of the chicken. Now for the outside of the chicken, I do very similar to what we did for our potatoes. I give it a little drizzle of avocado oil. Again, you could use a high quality butter or some coconut oil as well. Little drizzle over the top. And then what I like to do is just use one hand to rub it on. You can see it's a very light coating because you have to remember there's also plenty of fat in the skin already. So we really don't need a lot of extra oil here. So use one hand so that your other hand is free to season with salt and pepper. So I'm gonna go in, take a nice fat pinch of salt, and then again, you really wanna generously season the outside of the chicken because this is our flavor, guys. This is where we're getting all the extra flavor, just this little bit of salt and pepper. And I gotta tell you, it never fails to amaze me how far a little salt and pepper can bring you. Okay, so we got that, and then you know what? I'm also going to just kind of get it on its side a little. Get underneath that wing. A little extra love. And then I go in with the pepper, same exact thing. Then once I have my chicken well seasoned on the inside and the outside, I'm just going to put it right on top of the potatoes in my cast iron skillet. Now again, sometimes you'll see people tie the legs of the chicken together, but for a quick weeknight meal, it's really not necessary. Just make sure everything is tucked in and ready to go, and you can pop it in the oven just like this. So what I do is it goes into a 425-degree oven for an hour and a half, or until the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees and those juices are running clear. Every oven is going to vary a little bit, guys, so just take this as your general blueprint and then tweak it as you will. Okay, so when we come back, I'm gonna show you my weeknight kitchen sink salad and my go-to formula for making a no-fail vinaigrette. No measuring spoons required. Okay, so our chicken is in the oven. It's cooking at 425 degrees for an hour and a half. And I'm gonna show you guys how I make a very easy weeknight salad. Now, the reason I like to call it a kitchen sink salad is because I literally just go into my veggie drawers and pull out anything that works in a salad and I throw them into my salad. So you don't always need a recipe, right? Especially for a salad. And I find with kids, the crunchier the vegetables, the more willing they are to eat it. So I'm starting with a head of romaine here, one romaine heart, and I buy them like this at the grocery store. And I just like to slice it into thin ribbons. I already washed all my veggies, so we could just get right into it here. Once I've got it all chopped up, I just toss it right into my bowl, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the veggies. And a little meal prep tip here, guys. If you're gonna be in the kitchen making a salad anyway, a lot of times I like to double or triple the size of the salad, and then you can use it the next day for work and have it for during the week and save yourself a step. Next up, we've got some carrots. I just like to peel off the skin. I've already washed them. And not only do I love carrots in salad, but like I said before, the kids love the carrots because they're crunchy and they're sweet. So it's a nice addition to the salad. And for anybody who's really struggles with a sweet tooth, one of the favorite tips that I've ever learned that I find to be so helpful is working more sweet foods into your diet, like sweet potatoes and carrots, because then your body gets those little doses of sweet in more natural forms, and it tends to curb a sweet tooth. So a little tip if you find yourself having a strong sweet tooth. Usually for my carrots, I'll just slice them right in half and then cut them in half moons. If you wanted to go smaller, you could go right down the middle of that. Boop, just like that. The chicken smells so good already. There's something about roasting a chicken. If you want your house to smell like love, roast the chicken. So good. Okay, then next up I have a cucumber from the garden. And again, I just slice it into chunky bite-sized pieces. What I really want the takeaway for you guys to be with this salad is use what you have. That's why I call it a kitchen sink salad. I do have a loose idea of what my kids and my family likes in a real quick salad like this, the crunchy fresh veggies, so that's the direction I tend to go. But you know, use what you have on hand and buy what you love. Then I've got a little bit of red cabbage. I grew up in an Italian kitchen. We always had red cabbage in our salads. So to me, when I think of weeknight salad, there's always red cabbage in there. I like to cut them down into strips, and then I just rotate the whole thing, go back the other way, and so I have little chunks. Just like that. I like a nice hearty salad. And then the last ingredient going into my salad are some cherry tomatoes. And little things like this, I have to say. So they sell the cherry tomatoes at the store, and they sell this pack where it has 3 different colored cherry tomatoes. I always take little opportunities like that to add more color to the dishes, because the more beautiful the food is, the more fun it is to eat. So if you can find a multi-pack with different colored cherry tomatoes, it just makes the food that much more beautiful and that much more delicious. Now, in a perfect world, I would throw some olives in there as well, but I don't have them. So remember, guys, you always just gotta use what you have. Make it work. So now I'm gonna show you my fail-proof vinaigrette. And this is the dressing that I make and that we eat 92% of the time. So you're just gonna need a little bit of olive oil, some type of vinegar. I'm using a red wine vinegar. You can literally use any vinegar that you like. You could do a balsamic, an apple cider, it doesn't matter. And you can change it up by changing your vinegar. You can even do fresh lemon juice. Then we're gonna do a little bit of Dijon mustard, some Italian seasonings, fresh garlic, salt and pepper. So here's how you do it. Now, as you guys probably know by now, I love making my salad dressings right in these little spouted cups because you can see the measurements on the side. You can whisk it and mix it right in there and then pour it right from the cup. So I find that to be very handy dandy. The first thing I do is I crush a couple of cloves of garlic for the base of the dressing. Now, you can certainly do garlic powder if that's what you have, but I will say that fresh garlic is quite fantabulous. It adds a flavor like no other, and it really makes the dressing pop. So once you get the garlic out of the clove, and I do that just by smashing it with the back of my knife, I highly recommend using one of these little garlic presses. I love these garlic presses because it gets the garlic nice and fine, and it even squeezes like a little of the garlic juice out. So I'll link to that in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. Get the garlic into the cup, and then I take my Dijon mustard and I give it literally, remember I said no measuring spoons, maybe a half a teaspoon. I also add some Italian seasonings right to the bottom, about a teaspoon, fat pinch of salt, fat pinch of pepper. And guys, remember, this is where we're getting all the flavor for the entire salad, so be generous. And then what I like to do, now traditionally a vinaigrette is 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar or to 1 part acid. Personally, I like 1 to 1. I like a nice, bright, fresh flavor in my vinaigrette. So I go 1 part olive oil to 1 part vinegar. So this is again why I like the spouted cup, because I can just look on the side there and I'll pour a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and then I will take the vinegar up to the ½ cup mark, right? So it's 1 to 1. Then you just give that a whisk, bring it all together. The mustard acts as the emulsifier, so it helps to bring the oil and the vinegar together. If you want to know, hey, is my dressing good? Is it not good? What you want to do is pull a piece out from your salad, a piece of lettuce, a piece of cabbage. You need something that's going to be coming from the salad. Dip it into the dressing and give it a taste. Mine happens to be perfect, but if you needed to adjust, you would just adjust. A little salt, a little pepper, do what you need to do. Okay, my friends, so our chicken is a-cooking. The salad is done. You can see just how easy this is. And when we come back, I am going to show you the final product. OMG, guys, look at this chicken. I hear the potatoes sizzling in the bottom of the pan. The chicken is a beautiful golden brown color, nice and crispy, and look at these potatoes. I just have to show you this. They get really crispy, and look at the bottom. Caramelized on the bottom, and in the middle of the potato, it's like the perfect, soft, delicious sweet potato. Now, just for safety's sake, I always like to just pop a thermometer in, make sure we've reached that internal temperature of 165, which we definitely have, and you know your chicken is ready to go. From here, I just let it cool down until I can handle it. Then we'll cut it up and we will serve it. And you guys are gonna see that these potatoes are so tender and sweet, and they have that crispy outside. The chicken is juicy and tender, and the simplicity is what I love so much about this recipe. So I would love if you guys let me know if you give this one a try. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with anyone else you know who's trying to make healthy eating easy. And don't forget, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description box below. If you guys want to give Butcher Box a try, you can take advantage of this special offer that they're running. It's just for the next week and it's just for the Clean and Delicious community. You will get a free chicken along with $10 off your first order. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Danny Spees. I will see you back here next time with some more Clean and Deliciousness. Cheers. Let's steal a little tester bite. So juicy. OMG. Simplicity at its best.